Hello and welcome. It is the 28th day of July 2019. My name is Derek. This is the Money Charts channel. Like always, all bets, trades of the like, that's within each's own risk and their own reward. For me, I'm going to go over a brief update on Bitcoin. And then I'm going to transition into using a spreadsheet and ratio trading to get like accounting type statistic data. I'm going to show you why so far I'm on pace for 1 year to be making almost 100% return on the Sky Go Cross. And when I say return, that's based on the actual trades. That's not based on the market conditions of how much Sky and go up or down in that of price. That, of course, increases or decreases your return as well. And I also feel that over the period of time that the volatility has not been anything magnificent, where those numbers should only be better with, of course, what I would consider more volatile market conditions over a larger sample series period of time. Alrighty then. Yesterday's session was a pretty powerful outside day as the price action barely breaking above this high. When I say outside day, that's based on the 3 days prior to it, as this high was greater than this one 2 days prior, and this low was lower than the low of the day prior to that. Today's session is just it's down 5.85, it looks like. Yeah, it's barely doing anything at all. And it's got a couple of small lines on both the up and down side, totally paused. Meanwhile, we're seeing excitation of the 18 average of lows after it already established this level of support, really a retest of it, but this more deeper level during the 3 days from July 16th through the 18th. We are on a Sunday, so maybe you have to wait through most of the day for price action to get going. And the Monday starts roughly around 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning on the New York time, because that's when the sun is up nice and bright in London, UK, and of course in Europe mainly. Start of the European day. Although Japan, China, and although I don't know how much China actually puts in liquidity, or even for that matter, how much each country puts in, or based on time zone. With that being said, let's just go over the shorter term, 8 hour term. Just yeah, 3 minutes doing this. I'm gonna go even shorter term for the next little bit, but little bit of pausing and breaking down below there, as I've been mentioning on the longer term. I'll go longer term than shorter term. 3 day, you can call it hanging on like a thread, or showing a lot of reason why this could establish stage number two, which is that for a level of that of support. And very long term, or whatever next key level, you can't count out into the 6,000s, but in the near term, I'd be looking at somewhere probably around 8,000, maybe a small pierce below, on a situation of that leg lower. On the weekly term, that move to the 18 lows, that would take us to about 8,000 within such. And the monthly chart, we're just pausing in there after one, two small green candles up, and then these three here. So pausing the three and still staying above the previous month's low, really considering the April 1st breakout is where I want to be looking at such. And with that being said, April, May, June. Let's take a look at this on the quarterly chart. Okay, yeah, I haven't seen this this is like probably the first time like ever. I mean, it's only got to the point now we can even start looking at this time frame on the quarterly, at least with association of the 18. So from the high back in 2017, holding and pausing the 18 highs for a little bit, just a small little correctionary move. But this to me is looking like a successful correction. Excitation of the 18 highs and is what's in play here. And I mean, the 18 average of lows is like 36 in here. Closes, it'd be in the middle somewhere around the 6,000 area is that of big support. But when I see this, this is almost live to the point. Oh, when I look at this, what looks more likely? A move within the 18, or a move that gets towards this high? And I really couldn't answer that by looking at it. Now I just clicked on USDT. I don't remember putting all these lines in here. Wow, that's crazy. This is the When did I put? I don't remember doing this. I really, really don't. I mean, maybe one of you, I might have done this in a video. Well, I'm gonna keep them in, but wow, I wanted to put the U.S. dollar tether in because I want to take a look at short term. I just pushed the T and enter while it was on pause, and I really should have went to this one here. And I got these two lines in here as well. But this is to look at the shorter term time frame, and we can see amongst the three from this key down move, and this is going back July 27th, yesterday morning. So for the full day, just a lot of this little sideways, really very volatile within choppy action. I do see in here one thing that's noticeable is we are supporting this area of choppiness in here. But with that being said, it's still this very small sideways consolidation from really this point A high and this breakdown to these lows in here. And amongst the, and I really want to just go right to the short term because this happened last night. We had that interesting intra period move, and I want to follow up on it. Happened right back in here. And the market didn't sell off from this point, but it hasn't been going up though either. Although, as I showed before, short term, yeah. So this happened in 1 minute, going from 9,500 to 93.40. I think I've seen as low as 93 even, maybe. I don't know. But still, a decent sized move. And it immediately rallies back up to resist where it came from. And then from that point, there was a couple interesting moves that happened thereafter. First one was this one here with this high that broke out and a decent sized move as well. The volatility, the move itself was 0.86% up, but it gave it all back to the 18, wasn't able to successfully correct it. And then we had this very volatile selling. So overall from 1955 in the hours to 2007, that's 12 minutes in time. The price action, 12 minutes? It looks like more than that. Yeah, it is. That's 12. Anyway, from that time, it would be 13. But either way, 95.37 to 93.72. That's about almost 2% in just that quick period of time. And then from that point on, well, what do we see in here? Well, there's that little bit of that breaking up in here and holding this little area for where it came from. But then it had that failed breakdown, goes back down to this level of resistance. And that's where it stands right now. So a lot of interesting volatility. Market isn't breaking down, isn't breaking out, and until it doesn't, it's not. Meaning it's just going to stay just chopping around doing this sideways stuff within this price range. Let's move on to a couple alts, Skycoin and GoChain, and then we're going to do, like I stated, the some spreadsheet work to determine statistical results. And as I'm mentioning, how combining these two, I'm on pace to make about 100% on the actual ratio trade itself. This, I mean, it's been going way down. There is volatile moves up and down, and to me, this is either going to work its way to nothing, basically, or it's going to have some moves on the upside. And maybe this might have the possibility to sustain a good bull market rally. And I don't care if it just goes up to here, even that's good enough. I'm not that's like a 4x move, but any type of 4x, 5x move, I think if that's all it has, that's your best you could do. I think that's like a worst case scenario on any decent sized rallies. These markets have easily have the possibilities for double digit, even triple digit X gains against Bitcoin from point low to point high. Question is I mean, if it doesn't happen, it's going to nothing, of course. But if when will it happen? And to what degree, and for how long, all those kinds of things. As far as this chart is concerned, had this breakout in here, and it's still correcting within this 18 average after the point A high, point B low. Really not much else to say about it. Single hour or single 8 hour or 1/3 day. After this high in here, just coming back down in the area of this previous low, in this area of previous resistance, holding in there but not really doing much at all. Go chain is next. And on its daily time frame, it most certainly as well as getting its ass kicked to major degrees. Coming back to this level of resistance would be 480, and that would be an okay move. Coming back to this previous high would be 1260. We're looking at close to 10x to get there. But as it stands right now, we can see interesting move within the 18 and the daily chart as it comes up to this level of resistance. Nice little copy pullback that's starting to work its way up. How the last couple of days is working within the 18 highs is pretty interesting. 8 hour term time frame. Oh, okay. Exitation here of the 18th from this point. So far holding this 8-hour time frame with 2 hours to go. So that's pretty interesting to say the least. We had this one good move that happened at 2 o'clock in the morning. Price action getting up to 147. Now in at 139, but really holding in within the gains. Now looking at this on the ratio with the two together, you get something like this. A lot of those nice up and down choppy moves. And this is why I really like the ratio trading as another reason compared to that against trading against Bitcoin. With another reason, when these coins go way up against Bitcoin, I'm going to later trade them against things like Bitcoin and the dollar when they go, if and when they go up big against those numbers. That's why it's say if and when. Play the situations. You see it. How do you work on it? My first ratio trade was made the 29th on here. So starting in here, I would have got in somewhere down here, maybe even that same day, earlier day. Comes up to this level, then back down to 65, and then this up and down movement. So I'm going to go show you the trades in which that I've made. And how I got this is in here, I'm allocating 11,882 of my Go inventory to this cross. How this mathematically calculates, it takes these numbers. If I'm going to add 772, it's going to increase this by 772, and it's going to decrease it on the negatives. Same thing on the sky down in here. So right now, as of my last type putting in the data, the Go chain was 137, the Sky was 132, which made the ratio 96.35. And early today, I nailed a 95 point and 2/3 number. And these are the trades which I'm going to copy and paste them into a new spreadsheet. And there's been a decent amount every day or every so often. It seems that there is a trade. So earlier today, I sold 1,656 of the Go chain, and then the Bitcoin that I received for that, I was able to purchase 17.31 of the Sky. Got that copied. Let's take a look at this into a new spreadsheet and paste the data. There we have it. And the formula for the ratio, I have negative B number divided by C number. Now I can also go B number divided by the negative C number, but in every trade there's going to be a negative and a positive. So it's always going to be a negative number when I divide these two. So that's why I need to put that into the negative. And we're going to even be doing more of that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a sum of all these numbers. So I'm going to find out, well, how many more or less of these coins do I own? Okay, let's go like this. And the answer is I have 2,738.9 of these coins. I can just copy and paste this to get the Sky. We've already got the Go, and I'm out or down 12.783. So I have 12.783 less of these from when I started and 2,700 more from when I started. Let's copy and paste this formula down, and now we can get the average price. So I have basically, now at this stage, everything all considered, I have sold this many to get this many at an average price of, well, maybe I should use the right cell for such, that's why I don't get the divot zero error, 214.26. That's better than twice the price right now, so that's a pretty good deal. Obviously, I'm up on the situation. But I've also talked about how do I calculate that I'm up like almost 100% for the year on this, and I'm going to show you. Well, if I were to just par things out in a way, I could technically buy 12.783 of these coins at this price, and I'm going to only use a portion of this. So let's just think about that. Okay, well, how much would it cost? Well, what I'll do is didn't want to do that. I wanted to push the equals, and push something else before that. Equals. We have this in here. And we're going to multiply this. We're going to have to use a negative number again just to get this all positive again. So at this price point, we would need 1,222.91 of the Go chain, the Go chain. And then we could be right back to zero. I also, furthermore, could sell 2,738.9 of those coins. And if I were to do such, well, I could go like this. divided by 95.67, which is, we'll say, the current price. And I would pick up 28 of those coins, which is more than, it's just a gain of almost 16 on the other end. So I'm going to go back to the spreadsheet and go over the amounts that I again showed you. Let me just go back to, that's right here. So these are the starting levels, or these are the levels in here. And if you look at how this is written in this thing, this is plus 9143.74 plus the sum. 152.441 plus the sum. And then it just, again, it keeps adding it up for me. So I'm going to go like this again. I'm going to copy it just to bring it into the spreadsheet. And I'll use the paste special because there's formulas in there. And that just gives these numbers in the number format as it would be. Where if I were to go like this, you can see how these numbers are not right. Although technically that's what I want actually to be, because I want to find out what the starting numbers are. So technically I'm just going to go like that anyway. So that's what we're starting off with. So therefore, if I have, and I'm going to need both numbers, but if I take this plus this, I have made a gain of, well, 1882 plus another 9. I've made like 20, that's like 30%, 2,700% more gold. But I've lost this. So what I want to calculate is how many go am I actually up? Because I have to cover this 12.783 loss, if you will. And I've already done that, but this calculation in here by taking C47 multiplied D44, which is this C47. Where's C47? Right here. So I would need, again, 1,200 of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract the amount that I'm up, which is 2739. And I'm going to take this number, I'm going to subtract the 1222. Because that's how many I would need to bring the sky to zero. So technically that would mean I'm up about, well, 1,516 of the gold chain. That's my net gain. Now what's my net gain on sky? Well, again, same thing. If I were to say sell all of these, like I was mentioning before, then that would give me a gain. So what's the exact number? Well, again, we want to remove this to, just trying to think of, okay, let's go back to the calculations of the 28 here. If I take this number plus this number, then what's going to happen is it's going to come up with 15.8. So technically, you could say that's what I'm up. It's 15.8. If I take this number and divide it by this number, that would tell me how much I'm up, which is about 16.7%. And if I take this number and that's 10.3. So it's about 13 and change if I take the numbers in the middle. Like about a 13.3% gain. And to gain 13.3% in about 2 months, considering the first trade was May the 26th and today is July the 28th. So 2/12 of a month, that's 18%. As I can go 2 divided by 12, or 16 rather. Okay. And I guess that number might be higher because I was calculating 20% in my first calculations. Okay, so then if I do 1 divided by the number, that should be 6, of course. Yeah. So therefore, I'm going to calculate over 5 periods. On compounded level, if I take 1.16 forever, which is 2/3, and I put it to the exponent of 5, That's better than double. That's 116% gains. But it's closer to 5.8 because it's a little under 6 because 2 days ago it would have been 2/12. So even like 144% gains. Just keeping on, just doing this, playing the markets back and forth, and let the ratio numbers come into play. But it comes down to these moves, and let me just put this on a better time frame to see more data. 3 hour term, and they happen, and there's that over and over and over again. And the volatility 120 to 94, and then you have this move up to 113, down to 102. So if you're playing for all of these small moves, they're just going to add up over time. And then that's why I'm stating if you are able to get a good amount of sample size of days, we're talking several hundreds of days or about a year or multiple years, and then you combine that with having the opportunities to be able to sell this against Bitcoin and or the US or whatever fiat currency, and then back, of course, into this, and within fiat currency, profit taking, buying back against fiat. Because when we take a look at, say, some of these coins against let's take a look at Gold Chain against the US dollar. Yeah. And it's going to be getting its ass kicked, but doing okay for the year. Not really, but really, I guess. Let's take a look at this on the daily. It's not doing the greatest. But we're down from these July lows. Unlike the other markets, I mean, all the markets had this nice little rally. Will this catch up? Maybe, maybe not. But when these things go, I know they can go up pretty fast. This is a spot where here it went up from almost 3 cents up to about, not the greatest of moves, but 2.5 times. This one goes up from 1.6 to 3.6, better than double. And this could go up 4, 5, 6, 8x at any given time. We're only looking at data going back to September 2018. I don't have the availability right now. I mean, I can quickly take a look at CoinMarketCap, so let's do that. And a lot of it's pretty much the same. So there's the price going up to like over 10. Support here at 2. Well, actually, it's 5x moves according to this. Trying to get them. Yeah, 11 I see. So some decent moves. But at any point, this thing could, like, you see how fast this goes up like this. And how much time did you have? You had basically no time at all, or the most minimal amount of time to get the prices above a dime here. And you had very little time and to be good on the market to get around 8. And the reason why I say good is because did you not take this lower price in here? Did you actually take it when it was up there? That was your last chance selling over 8. At least for now. It may be your last chance. And to buy at this high, or to sell at this high, you had a few days. This one here, you had a decent chance to. You definitely had many opportunities to sell above 6. And here, to buy, add and below 2 is easy. And then to sell up in here, you had a few days to be able to sell at 3. You could have sold at 2.5. But yeah, if the possibilities for spectacular moves come in, 5 plus X gains, then why not sell it for this and then either buy it back against the dollar or use the dollar to buy other things. And to finish it off, let's take a look at Theta versus Go. Again, you're looking at some of these nice up and down moves. Here's a spot going to almost 6, down to about 4. That's a good mathematical decline, 1/3 of its value. How about this move, high and low? Well, we have 7 and 3/5, 7 and 2/3, down to under 6. So that's almost 2 and under 6. That's 30% volatility. I mean, I can't count this high because you had to have a sell order in it, but all the up and down choppy moves, they're always going to come into play. Just this small move again, 775 down to 550. Just take advantage of it when it's available. This high, I mean, easy to get 10.5 or 10.5 change here. And then it manages to go down to 8.2. Theta, looking at it against Bitcoin, I'm going to also take a look at the log scale on here because to me this doesn't look right. And I'm going to multiply this by 100 million. Maybe it's not going to make a difference at all. A little bit of a difference. And at 1316 Satoshi, as you can see, they don't always have the proper log scale. I did multiply that by that. And you need the Pro to do that for the feature. A lot of times if you try to do it, it won't work. It's unfortunate. But anyway, since I have the feature, I might as well use it. Therefore, within this high coming up to, I love how within this daily time frame, what it's doing within this 18 average since then. It is really screaming that this thing is ready for a good break higher. I'd have to say at least, I mean, conservatively, a leg higher from this previous low is. Let me put a line in here. There we have it. And within this move, this few days in here, it stayed well above where, in fact, I would have liked to see it stay between 1025 and like 1092, and which is what it did. The low is 1080. And then this breakout high on July 22nd, just a couple days sideways. Another nice high move with a pause day. Yesterday, getting a little bit above it and pausing in there so far. So I like how this is set up. And when I got this point A high from this low, and it corrects basically from the 50% retracement, meaning it pulled back half its move, and then grinds its way up and taking several days to get there. Now, this pry was just a couple of times in like a 10-20 minute gap, where I don't know if it's the same person or same group of people, but they bought it up to like, well, 14 and a half in Satoshi level. Then they bought it to 1380 again a few minutes later. So it was, you can even put a line in this area here or whatever, but I'm not going to. But getting above there, that looks to me that this could be poised for a pretty good gain. When you look at this on the 8-hour term time frame, this is just showing a lot of nice bullish strength right now. This last correctionary move, nice leg higher, correctionary move. Yeah, sort of matching it, but it pierced above, but not really because it comes down spending barely any time in this 18 band. And now just over the short term, within the last 3 periods on this time frame, we have a situation. Let me unfortunately have to move this in here. Move it back just so I can do this. But 3 periods in here, holding and staying above here. I got a lot of optimism moving forward, and moving forward as the rest of the day into the start of the next week, that Theta's going to really take off for a pretty good game. And another way of saying that is very good high probability odds of doing such, of a decent leg higher versus not, basically. And thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.